Do you have a chair?
You know what? We used it over there.
Why?
I know. I forgot to get it.
Who are you, Dave?
All right. Since we don't have any officers or anything, I'm going to start the meeting. Correct. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we're going to do oath of office for Mr. Parker and Ms. Zook.
No,
I already did mine.
just for
Oh, you did. You did it
just
last
for
time.
I did it last time.
That's right. That's right.
I'm the late one.
Raise your right hand, please. I state your name.
I, Lynn Zook,
Solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
Thought you
I
had
will
a paper
support the
one in there
Constitution
for
of the
me.
United States,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the Charter and ordinances of the City of Loveland,
and the Charter and ordinances of the City of Loveland,
and will obey the laws thereof,
and will obey the laws thereof,
and will faithfully discharge
and will faithfully discharge
the duties of Planning and Zoning Commission of which I am about to enter.
the duties of Planning and Zoning Commission upon which I'm about to enter. Thank you.
Okay, let's go ahead with roll call. Mr. Bateman, Mr. Parker,
Here.
Mr. Redmond,
here.
Mr. Weisgerber,
Here.
Ms. Zook.
Here.
I would move to excuse Mr. Bateman.
I second.
Mr. Parker,
Yes.
Mr. Redmond,
Yes.
Mr. Weisgerber,
Yes.
Ms. Zook.
Yes.
All right. Now we need to do election of officers. We need a chair and a vice chair. Do I have any nominations?
I would nominate Mr. Redmond for chair.
I'll second.
Mr. Weisgerber,
Yes.
Ms. Zook,
Yes.
Mr. Parker,
Yes.
Mr. Redmond.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
I nominate Mr. Weisgerber for vice chair.
I'll second.
Ms. Zook,
Yes.
Mr. Parker,
Yes.
Mr. Redmond,
Yes.
Mr. Weisgerber.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Okay. My turn.
All yours.
That's the official gavel. Okay. All right. I want to make we need a motion to amend the agenda to include a public hearing for case 26-01 320 Cedar Drive. The public hearing was advertised, however, it was omitted from the agenda. So I need a motion to amend the agenda for that.
I move to amend the agenda to include the public hearing.
It's fine. I've gotten a request to table this this conditional use application. I don't know, Dave. With that said, do we if it's tabled, is the public hearing tabled also?
Yeah.
Or do we hear
You
comment?
would reschedule the.
Reschedule it. I
Reschedule,
think,
right.
yeah, my only thought was if you have people here that have signed up, we probably ought to hear from them and we just hold it.
Perfect.
My suggestion is we hold the
Public hearing.
public hearing tonight and when we have the subject,
Sounds
if you don't mind. It's a,
Yeah.
I think we had a motion. and
I'll
a second.
second.
All right. So we'll put that in. Go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry.
We've got. We'll put this in before the public hearing and before open forum. So that would be the next order of business then. So who is? I don't have the sign
I
up
need to get it
sheets. So
Missing my secretary.
I'll tell it.
she'll get a big head if she knows all this stuff.
Looks like you have nothing really control. They switched it.
Okay.
Public hearing.
I got it. Okay. All right. So, like Doug Berghager, is that? Did I pronounce that right? Wrong. Okay. When you please come up to the podium and state your name and address. Yeah. You have 5 minutes. There's a timer light system here.
It won't take me that long,
Okay.
but thank you.
All right.
Good evening. My name is Doug Berghager. I've been a resident of 346 Cedar Drive for 33 years. I'm opposed to the approval of a short-term rental for the property because this is a residential area for residents and not transient people. But I do have a question. I'm really curious on how this request even got this far, because and why is it considered? Because I'm wondering if someone from Cedar Woods or the Sanctuary, both of which like a 7-iron shot from this property, if they were to make a same request, would it be heard? Would it be given the same consideration? All these short-term rentals are going to be regulated by the city. If there was a sexual predator that bought the house and wanted to move into the neighborhood, all the residents would be notified, correct? So, okay, let me just take it next step. Maybe the pervert Peter from Pikeville makes contact with some 16-year-old in Loveland and decides on an Epstein weekend in some no-tell motel it can conveniently find in the city of Loveland. How do you regulate the people? It's concerning about the nature of a short-term rental in a residential neighborhood. So that's all I have. Thank you for your consideration.
Okay. Next, James Schultz. Okay.
If you're
Sounds.
sorry. So this is just so that the board understands, this is the applicant.
I don't know if I can speak. I just signed up.
Well, it's a public hearing.
Okay. This is my first time. This is all new to me.
Yeah, so this is a public hearing, and the way public hearings work, it's your time. It's like open forum. We're going to have the public hearing again when we
For this specifically.
bring it up.
But I'll just give a little.
So it's up to you.
Okay. I'll still talk. Yeah. Okay. Well, my name is James Schultz. I have not lived in Loveland my whole life. I actually grew up in Batavia. Went to high school there. Now I live in Landon. So, Loveland has always been very close to where I've grown up. And anyways, a little bit about me. I've taken over my third-generation family business. We print tickets for all kinds of events all over the state and country. And my reason for getting into real estate is actually COVID. It kind of really put a monkey wrench in our business. When everything was shut down, there's no reason for events. So kind of trying to shift a little bit, and I decided maybe real estate might be the ticket. And my friend's a real estate agent. Came across this house on 320 Cedar Drive and did some due diligence before, realized that you could apply for short-term rental in the city of Loveland. So that's how we're here. Anyways, just to kind of plead my case a little bit, so to speak, I bought this house at the end of September. Since then, me personally, I've for 450 hours fixing this place up. I've repainted. I've redone the backyard, fixed the floors, remodeled the bathrooms, you name it. I've learned it from YouTube videos, and I've fixed up the house that way. So it's not like some big corporation, BlackRock or something, is coming in your town and like you'll never see them again. I live 10 minutes away. I'm just a phone call away, and if this does get approved, I had told them as well I would be willing to go around and give my name and number and contact out to the close residents around where I live. Kind of opposite of what he says. I think that having an Airbnb or a short-term rental in the town of Loveland is actually kind of an opportunity for the town. Number one, there's no hotels in the town. So people need a place to stay if they want to live or not live here, if they want to visit or they have family or whatever. There's not really any other options besides short-term rental. So that's kind of all you got if you want to stay in Loveland. If you go on Airbnb and you look, there's, I believe, I can't get an exact count because it depends on the date, but there's at least 20 short-term rentals in the town of Loveland, many of which are single-family homes like this that it may not be in a neighborhood, but it's on a residential street. And I wouldn't really consider where my house location is a neighborhood, so to speak. I mean, you got the park in my backyard. You're pretty close to the main street of Loveland right there. And I don't have any like direct neighbors where my backyard's buttoned right up against to somebody. There's a pretty decent buffer there. But I don't want to cause issues with anybody or cause bad blood between neighbors. So I'm just kind of pleading my case also to you guys as well as you, because I don't want to upset anybody. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. If we're having another hearing, that's good.
If you don't mind, I have a couple questions.
Yeah.
Is this something that you would manage
Personally,
yes, or not through Airbnb, Verbo, or
well, it would be
party?
listed on there, but I wouldn't hire out like a management company. I would be the one responding to people. I would be the one going there to clean and stuff like that. Yeah.
So, is there a process that you use for background checks? I mean, I've stayed in places where I've had to do background checks, and some that I haven't.
Airbnb has their own, and VRBO, they have their own background system. And now it's not per se like a background check where they actually run your background. You know what I mean? But you do have a profile. You do have reviews. If you've stayed anywhere, people write reviews about you, not only as a guest, but as the owner. You write reviews about people that stay there. So if somebody trashes the place when they leave, they're going to have a bad review. And I have the ability as the Airbnb host to accept or deny an application to stay. Like they don't just hit, I'm staying May 4th through the 10th, and it automatically goes through. It goes to me first. I review their profile, and then I would accept or decline. Yeah.
Thank you.
There questions? Nope. All right. Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
Then Amy.
Hi, I'm Amy Berghager. I'm through 46 Cedar Drive, lived there for over 30 years. Love it here in Loveland. Moved here because the neighborhood was exactly what we needed for our children. The schools are great. The house is great. We in this neighborhood have seen a lot of change. Most of it's been good, but I do not want to live 2 doors away from what I think is going to be a hotel. I don't want transient folks coming and going all the time, not knowing who they are. Yeah, our neighborhood, we don't have a homeowners association, so that's a question. If we had a homeowners association, could we preclude this? And another thing I would want to kind of mention, now that we kind of changed our schedule to get here, we're going to have to do that again. We did go around our neighborhood, and many people on my street did not get a notice. So I don't know what the perimeter is of who you notify. There's a lot of people on Cedar Drive that they never heard of this, so they couldn't make it. So I'm glad maybe we'll have a chance to get them here next time. I do wonder, I looked at the code to try to understand what the definition of short-term rental and what we have in place in Loveland, and I didn't see anything that told me like a percentage of a neighborhood. Can everybody on the street do this? It's not like we live on, Outer Banks and there's the ocean to look at. I mean, we go to school here. Our kids are here. We know the names of our neighbors' dogs before we know our neighbors. That's just kind of neighbor we are. That's the neighborhood we have, and we'd like to keep it that way. So I'm hoping that you'll consider that when you consider this issue. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Aaron Harper.
Hello, my name is Erin Harper. I live at 340 Cedar Drive, and we've been residents for almost 5 years. We'll be celebrating 5 years this month. We considered a lot of properties when we moved to Loveland, but we loved Cedar Drive because of the residential feel, far enough away from downtown so we weren't near businesses, and it concerns me to have what is essentially a business running next door to me. Also, I'm going to speak on a my own business side. I'm a realtor, and this city of Loveland has 1 month of single family inventory. And so I feel as a city, we should focus our efforts on providing single family housing, either in home sales or long-term rentals for people who want to make this their community. And I currently have 3 buyers in bidding wars here because there just aren't enough houses. And so seeing some of these nice residential neighborhoods turned into short-term rentals is tough on that side as well. So personal and business. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. All right, we have no more, nobody else has signed up. So do we need a motion to table,
Close the public hearing.
or I'm sorry, motion to close the public hearing? Thank you.
Move to close the public hearing.
I'll second.
Ms. Zook,
Yes.
Mr. Parker,
Yes.
Mr. Redmond,
Yes.
Mr. Weisgerber.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Next order of business is open forum. We've got no one signed up for that. So, I guess we'll just go down the order and then we can review and approval meeting minutes from January 6th. Does anybody have any comments or questions or changes?
I move to approve as submitted.
I'll second. Ooh.
What?
You and I were the only ones here.
Yeah, I'm not here. I can't.
So,
We have to.
Oh, that's right.
They have to be tabled.
Table. Yeah, you're right.
right. You can,
Because you got to get Andy here to.
yeah, we'll just table them. No,
Okay.
no vote taken.
All right. Do you have a motion to table?
I'll make a motion to table the minutes from January 6th.
Second.
Second. Oh.
Mr. Parker,
Yes.
Mr. Redmond,
Yes.
Mr. Weisgerber.
Yes.
Ms. Zook.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. We'll get those next time.
All right, the next order of business is the application 2601. There's been a request to table that. Do we need a motion to table case 2601?
I'll move to table case 2601.
I'll second.
Mr. Redmond,
Yes.
Mr. Weisgerber.
Yes.
Ms. Zook,
Yes.
Mr. Parker.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
All right. Finally, we got old business, such as the proposed zoning code revisions, red lines.
Yes.
So before we step into that, so Chris, you and I talked a little bit. I think Mr. Park and I talked after one of our prior meetings with regards to short-term rentals, since that was part of the public hearing, about looking at how do we put some bumpers around the density in the neighborhood or area, street, and whether or not there's some guidance in other communities so that we don't have entire streets, Ohio Avenue or different parts of the Heights, become nothing but short-term rentals.
So, unfortunately, our consultant was coming with two topics to discuss. It was to give you guys an infill kind of some ideas on how we address infill within the code, and the other was Airbnbs. So they will be here at the April meeting. I think we can discuss that at the April meeting. But I think what you need from us in the interim, and I have this now, is a map of our current Airbnbs, basically on a map, right? So you can kind of see where the concentration is. We do have that now in an Excel format. I'll put it into a map so that you all can see that at the next meeting. I think it's a very, very valid concern and a very valid question about saturation. So I do think it needs to be addressed in this code.
And then, so what? Go ahead.
Well, I was thinking if we have areas where we are concerned about saturation, is it appropriate to put a stopgap until we can come up with guidance on density to actually hold any applications? I mean, obviously we have one currently. We've had the one on Ohio, which went away because it was denied. I don't know if they've come back. Should we put a hiatus in place on these requests until we can come up with guidance? Maybe that's too much. I don't know, but I feel like we're running kind of blind.
Add to that, when you've got majority of the neighbors and oppose it, I mean, what is our guidance for that? If you got everybody around them saying
Well, you're going to have an issue of equal protection.
correct, that's what.
So that's where you're at right now, and I agree 100%. The only thing I would say, yeah, I mean, I think you could potentially do, and I'm not familiar with this as well. Dave, we've done moratoriums before, essentially.
People on, we had two examples that came sort of fast and furious. We had a use that wanted to go in the Commerce Park. That was a very undesirable use, but technically fit under commercial recreation. It would have been, for lack of a better words, a sports facility, filling up the streets with the Chris's of the world with their parents, and it would have resulted in the Keith McCluskey's of the world saying, "What the heck are you doing?" Technically, it was permitted. We went to council. We did a moratorium that gave them just enough time to rewrite. The Planning and Zoning Commission did a rewrite to the permitted uses within the I district, and that did it. And it may seem cold and harsh, but at the time, quite frankly, it stopped a complete underutilization of the city's Commerce Park.
So with that said, I would say the recommendation from staff is if that's what the commission would like to do, they should make a recommendation with a motion to council to consider a moratorium.
Because we can't
do it.
You cannot.
It's an act of council. And
This
I
goes
was
back
going to
to-
head there next, but
It just goes back to the standard thing that you're the recommending body to council,
right?
And Chris carries that to them.
I feel the same. I'm going to be honest with you, and I think you're going to see more of these because I don't know what has happened in the last 6 months or what, but I am hearing it. I mean, we're getting calls a lot, and I think it's the lack. Again, you have three event facilities, and we have no hotel space. So I think this is an optimal time.
And the one's closed indefinitely.
What's that?
Up at Ward's Corner.
The hotel.
Hotels.
Oh yeah, you're right. It is.
It's closed indefinitely.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I remember seeing that. Yeah. So I do think this is an optimal time if you guys want to.
Yeah. I feel like we're operating a little blind.
Right.
And so as a result, I would recommend to make a motion that we request council put a moratorium on short-term rentals until we can put some guidance around density of short-term rentals within the community.
Do we want to make a recommendation on time frame or let them?
No, they do that. They always do it for 6 months. That gives enough time for all the public hearings, and it's done. And then since it has to be an ordinance, it is done as an emergency. So the clock starts ticking.
So that's the motion. I'll second the motion.
Mr. Weisgerber,
Yes.
Ms. Zook,
Yes.
Mr. Parker,
Yes.
Mr. Redmond.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Anything else related to?
No, just for the record, I mean, I don't have a problem. I've stayed at a lot of places.
Mhm.
But if I'm near the beach and it's a lot of condos, it's kind of expected.
Right.
We're a little different.
No, I think now is a perfect time to come up with a game plan for how we want it to look. If you're looking above, literally at the city of Loveland, and you see how it's spread out with Airbnbs, now's the time to figure this out. So, we're in favor of
So
it.
the map you've got, we've only had, since we've had this, we've only had 2 come before us. So
Yeah.
all of these other ones are grandfathered in, correct?
Correct. So they're grandfathered in. However, they'll be getting letters hopefully shortly. I have it drafted. I haven't sent them out, but letters to get registered. They have to be registered with us and obviously with the fire department. So the way our current ordinance states, they're grandfathered in unless they make some sort of alteration, or they come out of non-conforming use. So yes, essentially they're grandfathered in.
Was James Schultz mentioned 20? Does that sound about right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's probably a little north of that. Yep. So we'll get that for you. And I think we need some guidance because I'm not I think with them having some history, with McBride Dale having history on this, they can give us possibly a path forward. But you need maps from me. We need to hear from them. And I think that's what we'll do going forward. Okay.
Yeah. And if you distribute those, is he allowed to distribute things to the board between meetings.
As long as you don't apply at home.
It's just, remember, any communication from staff is all public records, which is why we should refrain from any kind of private communication. Private being inter-board communication outside of a meeting in violation of Ohio Sunshine Laws. So everything should go through Chris and staff, so that we don't trip over the Ohio Revised Code.
It was very common, Dave, when we were writing some other legislation in the past that there was modifications to the final motion, and the P&Z would say, will you send that to us to make sure that you got it, that we're, Dave's adding this, Mark's adding this, and in that we would then send it the next morning to say, well, and then Mark would reply singularly, Rob would reply singularly, and then we would clean it up, and then Chris would say, based upon the feedback, here is the final version.
And honestly, that's a little bit where I want to go after today, is if whatever we don't get to today, and unfortunately I had to break this, I do have a hard stop just before 7. My son has a playoff game. So, but what I do think I would like to do is very similar to that, is any comments so that specifically so that we're ready to just jump and address those specifically, so that we're not going page by page. But what I'd like to do, we got through definitions last time, okay? And I'm going to say basically where my next comment is, and if anyone has anything in between there, we can talk. So my next comment is on page 34.
I didn't kill any more trees. I used this.
I killed them. That's unfortunate.
I used the same one.
So to kind of summarize what all I wanted to do was point you towards this. This is something we did not have for the public. Our old code was very tough for the public to navigate. This just kind of cleans it up, gives them kind of a game plan of what things mean. So, if I have a conditional use, okay, I know it's got to come into the zoning administrator and I'm going to P&Z. Or, with the site plan review, it's going zoning and decision from planning and zoning. So I just want to point you to this. These are some of the things you're going to continue to see this code, is a lot of charts and graphs that help, hopefully, and flow charts that make it a lot easier for the public to consume.
I will commend on that, because I'm dealing with a jurisdiction right now that has a flow chart, and it actually works really well. You understand where you're at, what your next step is. Mm-hmm. So I speak to that.
Good. My next is on page 35. I just wanted to bring your attention to the fact that things have changed now. We do not have to publish in the newspapers, right, and we're recommending to go to that direction where it's just through our city's website.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My next comments are on page 40.
Before we get
I have a question about that. Is there a notification process that somebody wants to, like if you publish something, can they sign up for automatic notifications?
Yes. So it's through the website. It's similar to when we have bids posted. So I just posted a bid on Monday, and all the contractors that were signed up got it. It would be the same thing. I have to look. I'm pretty sure public notifications can be done that way. They're not set up that way yet, but I think we can do that. So that's a good point. I think if we go to this, give them the opportunity to sign up for any public notifications.
Okay, yeah,
for public notices.
We've done it for a few individuals in the past, where we've had to give them notifications. Mr. Miller and a few others throughout history, we've given them notices when things came up.
Yeah. Just to clarify on this too, as you see, actually it's right there, 300 feet.
Yeah,
so that's why some didn't get it. Quite frankly, 300 feet's not as big as you think.
No, it's not. It's a football field.
Yeah.
So that's, I had that circled, and I was going to bring that up before we left page 35.
Mm-hmm.
Is 300 feet sufficient? I don't know that it is. It's convenient for the city, because depending on the neighborhood, it could be 6 homes in either direction, right? Or less.
So that right now this is the minimum, right? By I believe by ORC. So the minimum is 300 feet. We can always do more.
That's kind of where I wanted to go. I don't know that I have the right recommendation, whether that's 1,000 you know, I think that it needs to be broader than 300 feet. We've heard this a good number of times in the past where the direct neighbor got it, but nobody else down the street did. Right?
It's very positive. Absolutely.
On the same street. So,
Rob, I know for a small community that I formerly came from, we put a yard sign in their front yard.
mhm.
And
Oh,
it was
that's
very
a good
generic,
idea.
and we reused it, and it was a game changer. But we handled it as a policy action, not a code action. That way, if we forgot and didn't do it, they didn't throw the code in us.
Right.
But as soon as your application was submitted, I
Mhm.
drove out and went in your front yard, and it said this property is subject to a zoning amendment / we use one sign variance. For questions regarding that case, please call 513-553-6. And it took away the whole. I never heard from anything, but it was never in the code. It was a policy process, and you really take that element out
Mhm.
by doing that.
I kind of like that based on the size of our community being only 5 square miles. I think that makes a lot of
Yeah,
sense.
I think
Yard
that's
sign
reasonable.
like that
I
from
mean,
RP Diamond.
And I'm okay with that so long as people, because like this case on Cedar, it's right at the corner there at Oak. I mean, you can't go into that neighborhood without seeing that corner, right? So I think if we did something, I don't know if it has to be in the code,
But
versus
it can be an internal policy.
internal
City
policy.
manager.
It was on the variance and zoning amendment applications through your signature or agreeing that the city shall place on your property. So
I like that.
you signed it and said it was okay to put it in there.
That makes sense.
I think that makes good
But
sense.
should we still look at more than 300 feet? You know, if I'm considering a neighborhood, in my neighborhood, I'm going to consider, 4 or 5 houses in either direction.
I think without a doubt, if you're gonna, I would suggest 500 feet, and see. You think
That's
more?
500 foot
That's-
in any direction.
That's 2 more
That's
houses.
almost a quarter mile.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like a radius or a diameter of a quarter, a little shy of a quarter mile. But I think that's reasonable.
Yeah,
500
I think
feet.
so too.
And Chris is right. When we were doing with John Hill's property, 300 feet was fine.
Mhm.
The way everybody
I-
is.
when you have a lot that's 30 feet wide, right, you get a lot of homes.
Well, there's
Our-
potential
our-
to not have another one.
You did it
Right.
in Chimney Ridge, for example, you would notify the neighbors probably on both sides.
right?
Our,
That's it.
our house, 300 feet, would get 3 houses
Right.
either side, and that's it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yours
And that-
would be about,
Yeah.
probably about
And
the
that,
same.
I think that's what brings this up, right? It really. I just think if we broaden it some, and I think Dave's suggestion with making the internal policy or procedure, depending on how you want to word it, so that we do this to get the notification out would be appropriate.
So you mailing the postcards, is that on the city's dime?
Yes, we took that out. There was and it's all removed in this, but it used to state that you had to sign an affidavit that you did it as the applicant, but that didn't make any sense. So yes, it's on our dime,
Just,
and that's fine. It's
Got
the cost of
lost in the
doing
mail.
business.
okay.
It's in the mail.
And their application fee covers that.
Yeah, it's plenty to cover it, and
Oh.
yeah,
Yeah. So I'd recommend we change it to 500 feet
Suggest.
and include the process for the city. And I think, the question is where do you do that internally?
perfect. Like those, I'm not going to do them live here. I'm writing them down.
Yep, that's fine.
I'm just not a great typer.
Like the
Most
people
engineers
watching.
Yeah, I'm terrible. Oh, I get nervous. Yeah. I don't know. I'm one of those.
The Columbus system. You
So
just
from here to 40.
I have one other question.
Yep.
On 36, maybe it's when we talk about conditional use or variances, maybe it is at page 36 when we talk about notices. Again, we talk about the neighbors, but as a board member, you and I talked about this, Chris, as a board member here at Planning and Zoning, I'd like to know what kind of variances are going on so that when things come to the board here, we have had the opportunity to attend those Board of Appeals or variance hearings. without me just searching the city agenda. So I'm asking, does it make sense to notify the zoning board
Yes.
of appeals and variances when those hearings happen?
I think the whoever the appeal is against, essentially. So, if it's questioning the planning and zoning code, which is your all's code, then yes. If it's questioning, because technically all appeals go to BZA. So, like, even if a zoning, well, that would be the same thing. But even a building permit actually technically goes to BZA. So yes, I think we word it in such that
Is this a policy? Not a.
that's what I don't know.
What's that? To be notified?
Yeah.
I've never been notified.
No. Shouldn't it?
No,
Should
it's
it be a
currently
policy versus?
I don't know that it would be in the code.
It doesn't have to be in the code
It's just a
necessarily. I
policy.
think I'm okay with it as an internal policy.
It's a great policy.
It
should
I
be
think
in
it's
place.
appropriate. We don't have to attend.
If someone's trying to appeal a decision, I want to know. So I totally get that.
Yeah, Dave, I appreciate your perspective on that. I think a policy makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. It'd be nice then instead of having, like you said, go back and try to research to see
What happened?
what it was. And
Yeah.
I agree.
All right. Thank you.
Now to page 40.
Good to go to 40?
Just for my knowledge, are all these track changes the proposed changes that McDale Clarion and the group has recommended?
Yes. So to this
Date.
point, the
Okay.
reds were changes that were made prior to meeting with P&Z. I think the other color's purple maybe or blue.
Blue. Okay.
So
Blue,
essentially, this is the live document of all the changes to this
Perfect.
point. Yep.
Can before our next meeting,
Yes.
can we get a Word document
Yes.
of this?
I was supposed to do that, wasn't I?
Well, it doesn't matter. We've been supposed to talk about this for 3 times.
Eva's supposed to do that.
Sorry.
So
He's digging with it.
if we have a Word document, we can zip through and annotate, highlight, and stuff. Really.
I would love for you guys. That would be great. And then
We're good
you can
typers.
send them to me, and I will compile, and we will discuss, and it will make yes, perfect. I will do that first thing tomorrow morning.
Yeah, and anyway, it just we'll get you comments. I mean, it's easier than me
Yep.
post-it noting.
Yep. I was supposed to do that. You're right.
You're fine. No,
I know.
Water.
I got jeez Louise. I hear you.
Group.
What we were doing here is once I had to through because okay.
You're
So
40.
what used to happen when there was an application for a text or map amendment, we brought that application to planning and zoning, and then planning and zoning set a hearing, which to me is an extra step that I don't think is necessary. I don't know many times that P&Z or planning and zoning is not going to set the public hearing, right? So we took that step out. That saves, on some of these things, it can save a month potentially. So that's one of the things there.
Do you have in here that before they submit an application, there's a required planning and zoning staff administration meeting?
We do not currently know.
Other jurisdictions have that.
Mhm.
I like it
Mhm.
from sitting on the other side of the table because you got somebody that comes in and it's not kind of just blindly submitting something, and it may head off some work for you guys. Well, guys, that's just not possible, or,
Mhm.
or hey, frame it like this. This is what you really need to do.
Generally speaking, obviously a mistake. I missed something today, but generally speaking, when an application comes in, we have follow-up conversations. We'll
Okay.
call the applicant, talk about the project, talk about what's going on. It's not bad to have it in writing. I mean, we could certainly get it in there somewhere,
if you're
but we
if
do
you're
that.
if you're fine with not, I just don't want hey, make those guys do a little bit of their due diligence ahead of time before they submit the application.
Yep, I think we can find a place to put that in. For
It just
application.
we do that as a course of business.
Mhm.
And I'm starting to see jurisdictions that actually require it.
Right here. I mean, there's plenty of places where it can be put in.
You're using it as a planning meeting? Or,
It is a pre-application meeting.
okay.
That's a good way to put
It's
it.
good.
Yeah.
It's a pre-application
It happens, but
and it could be literally right before they submit it. But again, they're coming in and talking to so that it because ultimately what they're always want timing. They're always going to be mad that it's going to take 30 days
Mhm.
and it's going to take this. Well, guys,
Yeah.
you know it's going to take this. Get the stuff right.
Which is actually the way the FAA does it for airworthiness for aircraft and engines. You have a pre-meeting to lay out what is the basis of your certification approval,
Right.
so that everybody's on the same page as it moves forward. So you have a map, really sets a map of process.
And with your flow charts, that will be immensely helpful.
sounds good. My next two are kind of 44 and 47. So does anybody have anything in between? Really what we were doing, what I was getting at, it's very similar to what we were talking about. Basically, the zoning administrator will be forward to the planning and zoning shall hold a public hearing. Okay, no, this is what I need them to clean up. This is what this is. So right now it says when we receive an application in, the application is forwarded to you all. This right here, it should say, and I've got this in my notes, this should say a public hearing should be scheduled by the zoning administrator, because here it's jumping right to where it says the Planning and Zoning Commission shall hold a public hearing. We need to set the hearing first. So this is just a cleanup. This was my own notes. And then I don't have anything again until 55.
You said 47.
It was the same thing.
Okay.
Sorry.
Right.
Same. It was for variances. Same exact thing. Keep hitting the wrong computer. Let's see.
On 48, don't know. You don't have to go back.
Yeah.
The historic design guidelines.
Mhm.
We are not setting those. The Historic Preservation Group sets those, correct?
That is correct.
And you guys are redoing those, or
We're tweaking them. We're not
Okay.
necessarily redoing
You're-
them. We're tweaking some of it, and they're in the process of doing that right now.
okay. That's it.
And just to clarify, this is a good point, and I know I've probably said this before, but moving forward, any projects that are within the HPPC boundary, any projects that come to us that are going to have to go to P&Z and HPPC, from now on the policy is they come to planning and zoning first, and then they go to HPPC. We've kind of, prior to, we kind of said, oh, you can go either way you want. It makes no sense to go do your, the pretty stuff and
then
what needs to be done before you know if black and white fits.
They'll be
So,
spending money on
yes.
artwork
Yeah.
before they
Yeah.
know where they're going.
So that's the policy now.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
That makes sense.
All right. This is what we had talked about a little bit.
Is there a guiding document that should be referenced with HPPC in here, other than taking it to their review guidelines? Is that
That's the document.
Guidelines is the document.
is the document?
So when this is live on whatever Law Writer or whatever, like that would be a link to
To the document.
those
Okay.
documents.
Okay, that's what I wanted to make sure that it was properly referenced in the document that people can get.
Right. Yep.
Okay.
Just for my clarification, they come to planning and zoning first, and we're looking at strictly from a zoning code angle, not anything related to the historic preservation guidelines.
Correct.
So once they get approved for zoning related, then it goes to them, and they're the ones that say we don't like the
Color.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was too much and I'll try to always keep everyone on track, but it's easy to get, because what you're going to hear a lot of times from public during public hearings in the historic ones, they're going to talk a lot about it doesn't look like the other buildings and blah blah blah.
Right.
We have to stay focused on the code,
Okay.
which is not easy. Trust me. So yeah, that's where we're at with that. This is what we talked a little bit. So we had talked about giving administrative relief on some standards, And we talked last time, does 15% make sense? Well, no, it doesn't. When you go through and you look at all of these different things, the front, the height, you got to take them individually. And
It's
I think,
55,
Rob, you brought
yeah.
this up.
Yeah.
So here are my suggestions, and then you can, if you want to jot these down and then think about them. And I'm going to go one by one. So front, side, or rear yard setbacks, I actually do think 15% makes here, because generally it's going to be about 2 feet in difference. So that one I'm looking at 15%. On height, this is just off the top of the cuff, right? This should be probably more like 2 feet. So not a percentage, because 15 is too large. That's about 5 feet. If you're looking at like 35 feet, that's 5 feet of, well, we shouldn't be making that decision. That's a big difference, 5 feet. Lot coverage, I think you can stick to 15%. For an example, 3/10 of the lot can be impervious area in RMD RMD. If you go to 15%, that goes to 0.34. So I think 15% makes sense for lot coverage. Parking space requirements, I think, should be more in the line of 10%. For, like, let's say you had a development that's required to have 100 parking spaces. That allows us to work down to 90 or potentially up to 110, which we would never do, but allows us to work down to 90. I think 10% might make sense there. If you had 10 spaces were required, then you're talking 9, right? We would be allowed to go to 9 through staff level. So that's what I'm thinking is 10% there. I'm not really I had nothing for landscaping material and buffering requirements. I don't really know.
I did.
I'm not sure.
10 plants.
Yeah. Half a bush.
We'll have to talk about that.
Bush has to at least be as high as Ram truck head.
Right. Signage. Signage is typically a small square footage, right? So 10%. I think it needs. If 15 was too much,
Yeah.
I think 10%. I would even be willing to talk 5%. I don't think there should be a lot of wiggle room on signage. I think that should come as variances. So actually, now that I'm saying that out loud, I think I'd prefer that to be more 5%.
Yeah, I think so.
Just because there doesn't need to be a lot of wiggle room on that.
They'll always
Staff
push for
Right.
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 Just, yeah.
Size requirements for buildings and structures. This can really be 10%, I think. And then your lot sizes and widths. I think 10% makes sense here too. If a width of your lot is 50 in RMD, that allows us to go to 45. I think that's fair. I mean, I could see 5% maybe. So those are my first throwouts to you all, and so think about those and plug those back into the numbers and see if that makes sense.
Yeah, and really the goal is to give you some flexibility so that not everything has to go for a variance.
Correct.
Anything that's over it, you're saying this needs
So
to
if somebody came to us, right? If someone comes to us with 14 feet of setback instead of 15, and staff looks at it and they're like, "Yeah, there's not even a house over here." Whatever, staff, we're not going to just blindly do things, but it at least gives us that ability.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it really is there for. So we don't have a crazy amount of variances. I actually don't have anything again until 70, so it's a big gap.
Have we revised our parking space requirements?
Yes. So we did.
And I can look it up. I was just curious.
I think
I know that's a big
farther down.
trend. Some are going to almost no parking.
Yes.
I'm curious where we landed.
You put a note for yourself, because they described, and I don't have the top of my head, but they will, of what they recommended us go to. So we did. It basically came down. So like Shoppers Haven would never happen again. Right.
Right.
You would never have
Which
to
is
see
good.
a park.
You're never going to have
Correct.
any. Yeah.
Correct.
But you also don't want to get it to the point where.
Right.
Okay.
So for a question on non-conforming uses, we've always said if a given sign in front of a business comes down for a storm or whatever, they're not going to rebuild it. Or if you vacate the property for more than a year, you can't go back to commercial in the middle of a residential neighborhood. But I guess where I've always struggled is who is it incumbent upon to make sure that those guidelines and rules are followed? Because you don't know necessarily all the non-conforming uses. I struggle with things just continuing to happen, right? I don't know what other communities do.
So so other communities, larger communities, have more of a robust code enforcement arm, where they literally are driving around, looking at things consistently. This was just brought up recently. Same kind of situation. We have a light ordinance. Light was knocked down in a parking lot, put back up. New light was put up. Doesn't meet our new light ordinance, right? But we didn't know about it. We didn't know it happened because it went down, went up fairly quickly. We actually had this discussion today. The way we're going to handle this in the interim, and some of these are a bigger issue, commercial to resident. Yeah, that's a big deal. But what we're going to create is what we're doing is an internal work order. So we're asking every employee of the city to basically, when you see something, just report it in this work order system that looks out of place or looks odd. That's with the way we run. It's really the only way we can do it currently. It's just by people saying something, by the public bringing it to our attention. It's tough.
It is. I think when I first got on council, or just before in the 90s, a lot of that was just kind of agreed to with PD because they're out every day going around and they see things, right? It's not like the chief made it a hard and fast responsibility, but they just kind of,
that's who we hit. So today,
they just helped out, right?
It was myself, Mr. Kennedy, Chief Huber, and Chief Gabrielson. We had this exact conversation, and they're both in agreement. Especially, actually, fire is even more because they're going in, especially for commercial.
Yeah.
They're going in doing all these fire inspections, this and that. Trey Faust, who's taking over for, thank you, Harold. He's awesome. So that's kind of what we are talking right now.
Okay.
We're trying to do that. I need to create the backside of it, which is basically the work order system, where we want to kind of have some sort of app where every employee can have that. So we don't want it public. So we've got that Republic side, request tracker sort of thing, but we want an internal one for those reasons.
And I'm not trying to create this
No, it's a
cloud of a nightmare, right?
Yeah.
But at some point, it's like we had this discussion on Ohio. There's multiple rentals that people are doing that are non-conforming on Ohio. We have a process in here with PD, or not PD, but the fire department should be doing inspections if we knew they were being rentals. As we discover things, how do we track it and move it into the system, right? So it's those kind of questions. I don't have an answer, Chris. I'm just...
Well, that one's easier. So right now, the process that's in place is our property maintenance inspector. He's responsible now for tracking air. So he basically was the one that compiled the list. The list comes to me. The list went to LSFD so that they can get it on their list for inspections. So we've got some of the things moving in the right direction. But it's these things. It is the things that have... So I want to have a discussion later on, not today, but about landscaping requirements for, shopping centers, subdivisions, entryways.
Yeah.
We make them do things at the beginning, but we don't have anything on the books that says, follow up inspections after 1 year, or whatever that may be. And it's been brought to life by some residents to us.
Is there a way to use the water system? The bills go to a different address versus address, the local resident's address, to start looking into, well, is that going to be a rental, or is that, a different owner?
Right. And that's, yeah.
I think we've got some tools that could help without just, creating them.
Reinventing the wheel.
So I think we ought to be a little vision,
I
be
agree.
a little more aware.
Yes.
There's a lot of great apps that use GIS mapping, and
Yep.
it becomes an app that's very easy for people on an iPad, even on their phone, that they can fill out, tracks all the data. All the data is geospatial, so it sits with the thing, so it's very easy for people to follow all and track.
Yeah.
It's also easy for people to use on the, when they're driving, they're clicking on the address.
Yeah. Actually, Esri has a lot of apps, free apps for that. So
It's 7.
do you? I'm sorry, guys.
You're fine.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
You have to get to your playoff.
I know.
It's more important.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, so we want to table this. What page do we end on?
I got to 70. Did anybody have anything in between?
70 starts the table with stuff, right?
Yep. So we'll pick up on the use tables.
Okay.
I'm gonna definitely they're gonna be here in April. I do think we need to potentially do another work session and just devoted to this so that we don't have what happened today take up.
Yeah.
So I'll look at everyone. I'll have Eva look at everyone's schedules, and she'll be in touch.
Yeah.
Thank you.
One other comment.
Yep.
Yeah, I know you got to go.
You're good.
When we talk about our districts, you and I have talked about where historic ends.
Yes.
Even on the map in today's agenda, I believe where it showed where historic goes beyond 3rd Street, I'm not sure that map is correct.
Oh, you're right, because of the SB change.
So there's enough.
We do need it. Yeah.
You're right.
I'm just asking for a review of those boundaries when we look at these maps. Okay.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Chris.
So what's the playoff game?
In 1 second. Just.